Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigil here, and welcome back to our video. So in this one, we're gonna rank all the free-to-play artifacts for the game modes. As you can see here, I have 2 copies of each, and I also have some tiers here. Now, those tiers are gonna be good for raids and soul raids, and good for Arena Champions or Arena League Invasion. This kind of follows a pattern, because I'm gonna separate those 2 rankings, because there's some artifacts which are amazing in one of the game modes, but absolute trash in other game modes. So, yeah, that's what we're gonna do here. And it's gonna be self-explanatory for most things. The only difference being that the lowest tier is gonna be for raids and stories is gonna be trash. Because we're gonna have some trash artifacts for those which you don't have absolutely any reason to ever use. But for League Invasions, we're not gonna have the trash tier, we're gonna have the better than nothing tier, because you might get to the point where you simply run out of artifacts in League Invasions, and you might as well use that artifact that you were just never gonna use in that game modes. And also, what do I mean by free-to-play artifacts? By free-to-play artifacts, I mean artifacts that you do have a pretty much guaranteed to drop. There's gonna be the artifacts that you drop from league raids. Those are not guaranteed, but you're eventually gonna get all of them. The artifacts from league raids, the Azure artifacts. You're also getting a lot of Azure artifacts from soul raid drops. So you're eventually safely gonna have all the Azure artifacts. And then there's the guaranteed soul raid artifacts that you're gonna get for clearing the 5th tier of the soul raids. So yeah, let's get into this. Also, I think I'm missing the Amulet of Agility, but I don't think anybody minds that too much, because it's gonna be in the better than nothing tier for... It's gonna be in the trash tiers. Okay, so we got a Twin Blade. So the Twin Blade in raids and soul raids, it's good. It's a little bit situationally good, because it's gonna be only good when used with Raven, but it's a good way for people to get that 2 billion damage eventually with the character. Raven plus Raven does very good with this. It's overall a pretty good artifact, though it has kind of a niche use with one team. It's not like you're gonna use it in some situations. You're gonna use it pretty much in every situation with that team. So yeah, this is good. Now in Arena and Champions Arena, this is also good, because you're gonna get yourself the ability to break shields and barriers, and that is something that is very annoying, especially if you're fighting something like Darkseid or Collector of Superman. Also gives you some armor pierce damage, which is not the worst thing. It gives you armor pierce on the hits. In the Arena and Champions Arena, you're gonna encounter a lot of defense. So yeah, the Twin Blade is a pretty damn good artifact. Now, the Amulet of Arcane, it gives you more damage on specials. Hold on. Excuse me for that, I just had to sneeze there a little bit. But yeah, this is gonna be trash for raids and soul raids. Ability damage is not a great thing. It's really not calculated in your favor, and now we can get ability damage on the goddamn bonuses of artifacts. So why do we have an artifact for this? And it's better than nothing, I guess, in League Invasions. Let me... Arena, Champions Arena. There you go. I didn't complete that one, but yeah, this is a bad artifact, and Amulet of Agility would be kind of in the same category. Though to be fair, if I'm out of artifacts in League Invasions and I had to use either Amulet of Agility or Amulet of Arcane, I would go with Amulet of Arcane. Crown of Conduct for Raiden Soviet is gonna be S tier. It's amazing for the League of Anarchy. It's pretty good for Batman the Drowned. You can even get some good damage out of King plus it. And it's better than nothing for Arena CA and all that stuff. Because you are not really in a situation where you have the time to scale it up, or you have the time to build the combo in order to get yourself the power rebound. I mean, it's better than the Amulet of Arcane for sure, but it's not even situational. Because there's no situation where I would want to use this. The only situation where I would want to use this is where I have nothing else. Okay, let's move on. The Kamidogo Dagger is gonna be situational in raids and soul raids. we can put it as good, but because it's always good on Batman Underground, it's kind of situational there too, because you're gonna kind of have to combo interrupt a little bit, and if you can't combo interrupt, then that's not gonna be great. If you're fighting a character that can't be combo interrupted, that's not gonna be great. So I guess we're gonna put it in situational in league raids and soul raids. And in Arena and Champions Arena, granted I didn't play it as much, I would imagine it would be a nightmare because, especially because it's bugged right now. Like in the future, if it gets fixed, might be a little bit better. But you're gonna get your combo broken by enemy using abilities and you blocking them, which is literally worse than not having this artifact equipped. So I'm gonna put this as trash. As better than nothing. But honestly, I would go with Amulet of Arcane versus this in Raids, Soul Raids, League Invasions. And yeah, in Raid and Soul, in League Invasions Arena, Champions Arena, and in Soul Raid is situational. It does well enough on Batman Underground. You can also get some decent damage out of it on Raven, I guess. But it's not great. The sights is gonna be trash in Raid and Soul Raids. The sights gonna give you damage whenever you interrupt an enemy special with your specials, and you're gonna get a reduced power cost whenever you do that. And whenever that happens, you're gonna get a little bit of damage. And look, if Crown didn't exist, if Dark Melkor didn't exist, if better damage dealing artifact didn't exist, if this released on the second Soul Raid right after Firebox, this would have been the best artifact in the game. But the problem is we have better choices. We simply have better choices for raids and soul raids. It's not an optimal way to get a damage buff. It's not even the highest damage buff you can get. I just don't like the sight in raids and soul raids, and I would never use it over the artifacts that do the same thing as it but better. However, it's gonna be pretty damn good in Arena, Champions Arena, and League Invasions because interrupting enemy specials is great. Having a reduced cost on your specials when doing it is great, but mainly interrupting specials is quite amazing to be able to do. So yeah, this is kind of the opposite of Crown. So Crown is trash in League Invasion Arena and Champions Arena. This is trash in Raids and Soul Raids, but it's great in those other game modes. That's why I kind of separated the list like this, because it'll be weird. Where do I put this? Where do I put the sites? If I put it at A tier, let's see if I didn't have this tier list separated, people are gonna be like, "Oh, that body is trash in the Raid and Soul Raids." If I put low, people are gonna be like, "Yeah, but it's great in Arena and Champions." Right there, you go. Everybody's happy. Puppets. Puppet is, I'm gonna put it that situational in League Invasions Arena and Champions Arena is really not the greatest thing because you're not gonna be able to reliably activate puppets in terms of getting infinite power. If the enemy tags out, you're gonna lose that infinite power. It's just gonna be awful to use. However, it is going to eventually apply some specials disabled, some lines, some tag out disabled, like it has some uses. It does something for you, okay? But it's not great in those game modes. However, it is gonna be amazing in raids, soul raids, and all that stuff. So I'm gonna try to order them kind of in order of how good they are. Not sure I'm gonna do that for every single tier, but I'm gonna try to do it for the high tiers. But yeah, Puppet is one of the best, if not the best free-to-play artifact in the game. Why do I have Crown again? Yeah, we're just gonna skip that. Claw of Forest. It's trash in Raids and Soul Raids. Like, yeah, it gives you a little bit of stun on your basics. It gives you a little bit of attack, but that's just bad. You'd rather have something else to deal damage with. There's simply no use for it. And it is better than nothing in League Invasion Arena and Champions Arena. Like, I'm sorry, it just doesn't do enough. And the chance to stun is even worse in those things because the enemy's gonna have some stun resistance, so that kind of takes away what the artifact can do. Next up, the Cosmic Staff is trash in Raids and Soul Raids. However, it is okay in Arena and Champions Arena. I wouldn't say it's the greatest thing, because you can kind of play around it, but it's gonna be crazy annoying when you're fighting a defensive team with this. Now, there's worse artifacts a defensive team can have, but this thing is gonna be kind of the best thing you can do as free to play on your defensive team, or one of the best. North Snow Globe is also a pretty good candidate. Next up, the chakra, the chaos chakra. This is trash in raids and soul raids. Like there's simply no use for it, because you're gonna get a damage buff whenever you get yourself damaged beyond a certain point, and then it's gonna give you a little bit of healing whenever that happens on the damage that you deal. But it's just not an optimal thing to do in raids and soul raids. It's not an optimal way to deal damage. You're gonna have a bad time with this if you're trying to play around to its strengths. However, I think it's situationally good in Arena Champions Arena and League Invasions. Why I say situationally? Because it kind of runs on the same problem most of the time that you're gonna encounter in raids, where your characters are not gonna get just nicely damaged to trigger the threshold and stay alive. They're just gonna die. They're just gonna die, my dude. They're just gonna get one shot, and this is not even gonna get to trigger. However, it's pretty good on Batman Ninja Team because they got immortality, though it's just situational. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Dark Metal cards is gonna be good in raids and soul raids. One of the best artifacts in the game. Works on literally anything. Works as a support artifact to bypass crit resistance. I love Dark Metal cards. It's amazing, and it's also gonna be good in Arena Champions or in League Invasions because it still gives you that crit damage and it still gives you that bypass of crit resistance. And in those game modes, you're gonna encounter it a lot more often. Like every single character has at least a little bit of crit resistance. Now, God Killer, I'm gonna say it's okay in raids and soul raids, and it's okay in Arena and Champions Arena. It's an okay artifact. It's situationally good on Batman Underground because it gives you the ease of gameplay. Though. Nah, let's put that situational raids and soul raids. We're just gonna drop this bad boy here. It's a very situation. I'm never using this unless I'm using it on Batman Underground. I love it on Batman Underground. But yeah, it's literally the same deal as with Kamidogo Dagger. On one situation we can use Kamidogo, on the other one we have to use God Killer. And in Arena and Champions Arena it's okay. But the main problem is, in raids and stories, you're going to be able to maintain an infinite combo with some characters with this, because the enemy can't tag out because they have no teammates. But that infinite combo is no longer infinite whenever there's teammates involved, because it doesn't prevent tag outs. And as far as attack reduction, it works pretty well, but what you're gonna encounter as a problem is that you're using God Killer, you're reducing the enemy's attack by a lot, and they just tag out, and an enemy that doesn't have the attack produced tags in and one-shots your ass while they're trying to do your infinite combo. Amulet of Might, trash and better than nothing. Gives you some damage on basic hits. That's just not great. Also, don't mind the positioning of those artifacts. I'm gonna try to switch them around in terms of the best in the first position at the end of this. Amulet of Metahuman in League Invasions, Arena Champions Arena, it's gonna be situationally good because it buffs the healing of the entire team, I guess. So I guess you can find some uses for that. And it's trash and raids and soul raids. Amulet of Tech, trash and better than nothing, gives you some health. Like if you got nothing better in League Invasions, you might as well use your Amulet of Tech. Next up, we got the Ant-Mel Armor. Gives you some health and also gives some split damage if it's equipped on the legendary character. I mean, I guess it's situationally good on the Arena Champions or League Invasion, and this trash and raids and soul raids. Region metrics. Okay, so I'm gonna put this at situationally good in raids and soul raids because there's those certain fights that I am sure are gonna one-shot my character. And the problem is I need all my 3 characters to stay alive. And I have a choice between this and North Snow Globe. I mean, Norse Snow Globe is gonna allow me to die 2 times, but I like Regimetrics a lot more when I just want my character to not die. When that's the only purpose of the artifact, I like Regimetrics a lot more because Norse Snow Globe doesn't stagger the enemy, it triggers a clone that might just get killed, and then your main character gets tagged in, and then a clone gets tagged in, and then your main character gets tagged in again, and you just keep getting killed. But with Regimetrics, it actually staggers the enemy when you revive, so you can stop that from getting out of control. So in very, very rare situations, but it happens, I'm gonna use my Regimetrics to not die in raids. And for A9 Champions Arena, it is okay. It's an okay artifact. Prevents your character from dying. That's pretty decent. Now, Norse Snow Globe, it's gonna be okay in raids and soul raids, and I know that's gonna be a little bit of a yeah, I think we're gonna also move the Twin Blade here. Maybe also move the crown here. I just want to create a little bit of a better distinction between those two. Because all the artifacts here are going to be useful only on some certain themes, and are going to have real good synergies only on some certain themes. And they're going to do a lot of damage on those certain themes, but I'm simply using those two a lot more often, a crazy amount more often than those artifacts. And Norse Snow Globe is going to allow you in raids and stories to get your clones for Kilnflight Sakuman and Deathstroke. They're going to do some percentage hull damage, but you're eventually gonna build teams to where you no longer need that. It's amazingly good in the early stages of your account, but it's gonna eventually run out of use. But it's still an okay artifact. And for League Invasions, I guess it's pretty good, because it gives you some constant healing, gives you a little bit of base attack, which is a lot more relevant in those other game modes, and gives you a clone. And also, having an enemy with Norse Snow Globe is insanely annoying, especially with the Batman Ninja team. So I'm gonna put that as goods. Again, I'm gonna order them later. All Blades. 4 years ago, All Blades was like the best artifact in the game. Now it's trash. It's trash. There's no situation where I'm using this in League raids or Soul raids. It's just bad. We got better choices. When we didn't have better choices, this was pretty good, but now we do, so it's bad. And in Arena and Champions Arena, it's better than nothing, because you don't really want your characters to get damaged on every single tag in. And at the same time, we simply have better choices. If you run out of choices, you're gonna go to that. Again, I'm gonna try to order them at the end. The Kryptonite Spear, it's gonna be situational raids and soul raids. It can be a way to heal yourself a little bit, and it can be a way to bypass reflective shields. It's not gonna be the best way, but it can be a way, and I'm using it sometimes for that purpose. For example, I'm using, let's say, League of Anarchy versus a character that has a reflective shield, and I'm using Praetor Batman to set up the stun. I drop this on Praetor Batman, Harley builds the combo, and then Praetor Batman tags in, and because he's got that combo built, this is gonna allow him to bypass the reflective shield and stun Harley. And then she tags in again, builds combo and deals damage again, and then we tag Praetor Batman back in. It's a very specific use of it, but it happens. Fatherbox. Fatherbox is gonna be situational raids and soul raids. Oh, hold on a second. We got this for Arena and Champions Arena. Yeah, I guess situational yet again. I mean, you're unlikely to really get to build that much combo, but it's gonna give you a little bit of healing. It's fine. It's fine. I don't feel like putting it in the better than nothing tier. Or should I? I don't know, I'm just gonna leave it here. You guys let me know in the comments. Firebox is gonna be situational raids and soul raids because the only purpose you're gonna use it is to get the infinite combo with Dr. Fates or with Grots and not care about the enemy and just bully them. And let's say use King with third special and Dark Metal cards to have a smooth fight overall. It's not great, but whenever you need it for that specific purpose, it's gonna be pretty good. And it's gonna be very good in Arena and Champions Arena. The difference is between this and Chakra, because they are very similar in a way. With both of those artifacts, if you get damaged beyond a certain threshold, they're gonna do something. This gives you a little bit of damage, which Firebox doesn't give you. I mean, it gives you a little bit of damage on the swipe attacks, which is not that great. And it gives you healing, but there's a big difference between the two of them. This one is gonna dispel all the negative effects, which is specials disabled, stuns, dot damage that's constantly inflicted on you. A lot of things that can be a bother, this is gonna dispel whenever that happens. At the same time, this is gonna straight up heal you. This is gonna demand you to do something to heal yourself, as where the Firebox is just gonna straight up heal you with no questions asked. So yeah, this is the tier list. Now let's order those a little bit better. I definitely feel like Puppet is better than Dark Mel cards. Now for Arena Champions and all that stuff, I think I'm gonna put Firebox here. I'm gonna put Nora Snowglobe here and Dark Mel cards here. Like, Twin Blade is somewhat specifically good, but it's so good that it's better than specifically good. Also, this is a little bit confusing. Where is it? I don't think they're in order at some point. Oh, they are Soul Raids, Arena, Soul Raids, Arena, Soul Raids, Arena, Soul Raids, Arena. Yeah, they're in good order. Okay. I feel like this is the right order here. Soul Raids here with yeah, North Snowglobe first, Crown then, and then Twin Blades. Because Crown does not require Raven, can be used outside of Raven themes. Twin Blade does definitely require Raven. Okay, in Arena Champions Arena over here, we're gonna have, I think, no, I think I'm fine actually with this order. I think this is fine. Cosmic Staff first, then God Killer, Region Matrix, and then the Kryptonite Spear. Situationally good in Soul Raids. I'm gonna put the God Killer because of how strong Batman Drowned is, and she uses it constantly. Kamidogu Dagger is fine there. Actually, I'm gonna put another tier below. It just doesn't feel fair to have those two artifacts in the same tier as those two. Let's say very situational. Raids and Soul Raids. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely some difference that needs to be made here. And I think this is an okay order for them to be in. Because I'm not putting Godkiller and Kamidogu Dagger on the same tier with the Kryptonite Spear. That's just unfair. Okay, situational Arena Champions Arena. I guess this is fine. I don't care too much about it. Yeah, just leave it like this. And yeah, in the trash tier is gonna be some sorting to do. I'm trying to sort them out because you might be in the situation where you only have the trash artifacts and you gotta use something. Yeah, I don't really care about the rest of them because those don't give you damage. But this is kind of the order where you're gonna go. You don't have literally anything other than the things that are in trash here. So you're gonna go maybe Sight, maybe All Blades, maybe Chakra, though if you get that the Chakra point is pretty bad. Yeah, Chakra, let's put Chakra here. I'm a lot more happy with this now. And the Better Nothing Arena Champions Arena. I mean, the Claw Force doesn't really hurt you too much. Crown doesn't hurt you too much. Yeah, this is fine. But all being said, this is my tier list for the free-to-play artifacts. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, make sure to subscribe. Let me know in the comments if there are some things in here that you do not agree with. And I'll see you all. And tell me why, by the way, because it's kind of cringe if you comment, I don't like this, and then you go away and never explain yourself. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.